Welcome to RM AI Insights, the podcast from RM Global, trusted leaders in collections and recoveries, supporting clients in more than 23 countries, operating from the UK, US, Australia, and New Zealand. We provide independent advisory, technology consultancy, and managed services to help deliver better outcomes for our clients and their customers. And before we start, we should mention this is probably the only collections and recoveries podcast hosted by AI. So if we sound a little too polished or never stumble over our words, that's why. But rest assured, the insights are real. Now, let's get to today's episode. This is the 8th episode of RM AI Insights, the podcast where we explore the challenges, opportunities, and best practices in the world of collections and recoveries. I'm Ella, and I'm joined today by Katie, a regulatory and technology expert at RM. Today's topic, the Financial Conduct Authority's upcoming Product Sales Data Regulation, or PSD for short. Welcome, Katie.
Hi Ella, thanks for having me. I'm excited to dig into this one because PSD is going to be one of the most important regulatory changes of 2025.
Definitely. This isn't just a small reporting tweak. It's a fundamental shift that impacts operations, risk management, and even competitive positioning. So Katie, let's start with the basics. What is the FCA's PSD regulation and why should firms care?
Great question. The PSD regulation formalises and expands the FCA's historic use of product sales data. From Q3 2025, firms with over £20 million in outstanding balances or new advances will be required to submit detailed PSD reports, and the first ones are due as early as October. This isn't just regulatory box ticking, it's about giving the FCA near real-time visibility into how products are performing across the market, so they can intervene faster and protect consumers better.
So really, the FCA is raising the bar. This is about transparency, accountability, and control.
Exactly. And for firms, that means a higher standard of data accuracy, frequency, and completeness. It's not optional.
And it's not just about the FCA. We're seeing other regulators in Europe and globally move in a similar direction, right?
Yes, it's part of a global trend toward data-driven supervision. The days of firms submitting annual reports and hoping for the best are over. Regulators want actionable insight, fast.
Let's talk about what could happen if firms aren't ready. What are the key risks?
3 things stand out: operational disruption, regulatory exposure, and technology limitations. First, operational disruption. If your systems aren't built to meet the new data formats and submission cadence, you'll feel the strain. Manual workarounds and spreadsheets just won't cut it. We worked with one firm who initially planned to patch their way to compliance, but halfway through, they realised the effort was unsustainable and started from scratch.
That sounds like a huge cost burden.
It is. Second, there's the risk of FCA enforcement. They've been really clear. Poor quality data or late submissions will be treated seriously. We've seen similar regimes like Consumer Duty come with intense scrutiny. PSD will be no different. And third, the tech gap. Many firms are still relying on fragmented legacy systems. That lack of agility turns every new compliance obligation into a fire drill.
So in other words, fix the car before the race starts.
Exactly. I love that analogy. If your data platform is outdated, even the best compliance teams can't deliver what's needed.
So how can firms flip this from a compliance headache into a value opportunity?
We like to think of data infrastructure like a car, and right now a lot of firms are trying to race in an old banger. PSD needs a modern, agile engine. So first, modernise your architecture. Cloud platforms, real-time data pipelines, and well-documented APIs are the new standard.
Can you give an example of where this has worked?
Sure. We worked with a challenger bank last year to implement a near real-time data lake that aggregates product, customer, and performance data. Because they'd already invested in that stack, adapting to PSD is now just a case of building new views and automating submissions. Compare that to a traditional lender that still pulls reports manually across 5 legacy systems. It's night and day.
And what about reporting itself?
That's where automation shines. We're seeing clients use AI and machine learning to clean data, spot anomalies, and generate draft reports, all in a fraction of the time it used to take. It's faster, cheaper, and more accurate.
That also helps with auditability, right?
100%. Regulators love robust controls and clear traceability. The more you automate with audit trails, the easier it is to demonstrate compliance.
And of course, working with the right partners makes a huge difference.
Yes, navigating PSD isn't just a tech challenge. It's about understanding the regulatory landscape too. That's why partnering with organisations like ARM, who understand both, can accelerate your readiness. We recently helped a major credit provider run a cross-functional PSD readiness assessment, covering operations, risk, and IT. That gave them a clear 12-month roadmap and avoided duplication across teams.
So, Katie, what's your final advice for firms preparing for PSD?
Start now. Q3 2025 will arrive quicker than you think. View PSD not just as a compliance deadline, but as a catalyst for better data, stronger controls, and smarter decisions. Prioritise investment where it creates lasting capability, not just tactical fixes.
That's a wrap. Thanks, Katie. And thanks to everyone for listening to ARM AI Insights. If you're planning your PSD response or want to explore how we can support your regulatory journey, get in touch. Until next time. How ARM Global can help? At ARM Global, our focus is on helping firms prepare for PSD in a way that's sustainable, scalable, and tailored to the FCA's expectations. We've guided clients through every major UK regulatory shift in the last decade. Our regulatory readiness framework helps you benchmark your current state, define your future roadmap, and implement solutions, whether that's upgrading data systems, integrating AI, or using managed services to fill resource gaps. We're already working with firms to scope PSD-specific solutions that align to their long-term data and compliance strategies. We help clients map current product sales and performance data to the new PSD schema. Identify and close data quality or coverage gaps early. Design automated workflows for ongoing reporting and validation. Create internal governance and escalation protocols for data oversight. We focus on practical improvements that reduce friction and unlock value, while ensuring compliance with PSD requirements and adjacent standards like Consumer Duty and PS 24/2. To learn more, visit aram-global.com or contact us directly.